Hey everybody, welcome to Odyssey Fit. I'm Coach Spade, and here with me today I have Alyssa with Bombshell Patriots, another great veterans organization we're going to talk with and learn about today. Check the description here right below this podcast and the video to make sure you see all the contact information and how to get a hold of them. We'll go over all that in the podcast. So thank you, Alyssa, for joining me, and please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I'm the founder of Bombshell Patriots. We're an organization for women of service, actively serving veterans, as well as first responders, firefighters, EMS, all of that. We're actually going to be a year old in September, so we're still pretty new. But yeah, things have just kind of taken off like a rocket. So
that's awesome. So I guess my first thing is to say I love the name Bombshell Patriots. Like, that's just a killer name. So that's what drew me to you guys first. So love that. So what exactly is Bombshell Patriots? Where did the idea come from?
So Bombshell Patriots, it's kind of a collaboration of multiple things. So I am a semi-professional pinup girl. And that's where the whole, retro spinoff and Bombshell comes back. When you think World War II, you think pinup girls, but you'll also think like patriotism. That was huge back during World War II. But the reason Bombshell Patriots actually the reason it was born was in 2015, I lost a childhood friend of mine who, when she got out of service, she kind of got lost in the transition. And a lot of the things that she would always talk about is the camaraderie. The camaraderie is not there anymore. I got out and everybody forgot about me. And my husband is a veteran and he has a woodworking business, and he started getting contacted by other veterans service organizations asking him to do pieces for events they were having. And as we did a couple of these, I realized there was either no female veterans or there was only a handful of them. And I instantly thought of Lori. And so I just kind of put the feelers out to some other veterans that I know, was just like, hey, do you guys know any female veterans? I have a couple questions. And so I reached out to 6 of them, and one of them suggested doing a group so I could ask my questions and they could answer them. And then 10 days later, there was 1,000 female veterans worldwide.
That is amazing. I know coming from military myself, the female veteran community is not as well represented. And I think it's a really important aspect when people come up and say, especially with a veteran couple or a couple where the female is the veteran, they don't look at that. So was that a big aspect for you to start the female veteran aspects to kind of get the recognition of the female veteran?
So that gets brought up a lot, is how female veterans are not recognized as veterans. And that was one of the very first things that really got brought up. And so our mission statement is supporting women of service through camaraderie and education. And the biggest thing when it comes to education is it's not so much educating the female veteran as to what services are out there for her, but educating, communities and society as to, females serve. And they see a lot of the same things that male veterans do, and they do experience traumas just like male veterans do. And they sign that check, up to and including their life, just like male veterans do. So recognition is a huge issue that gets brought up a lot.
So what exactly with the female veterans do you guys do? Like, what puts you guys apart? I know you're relatively new and you're building everything up. So what sets you guys apart? What do you guys do for the female veterans?
So one of the biggest things is where we're still kind of the most, we have a support group on Facebook. That's where everything started with Bombshell Patriots. There's almost 2,000 female veterans in there. And it's the one thing, when you look at veteran organizations, you look at nonprofits for veterans, and they all mimic each other in a lot of ways. Even though, a lot of them are unisex, they're predominantly male. But when you actually look at how they're branded and how they're represented, they mimic each other, and a lot of them also mimic the VA, and they're all very rigid, and they all seem very like PC and red, blue, and gold, and very bold. And so the biggest thing, with Bombshell is it's very much just be who you are. Our brands are hot, our colors are hot pink and green and white. Our logo, we've got Betty Bombshell. And when you get in there, from what I've been told by we call them bombshells, they're like, I get to just be myself. And it really isn't any different than when I was in service. I get to just be me. We've got some of them that a lot of them are hilarious, and they don't hold back. You have to have a certain amount of grit, to be a veteran, but especially the strength and the grit that comes to being a female veteran. And that's something that's really, Bombshell Patriots is really kind of taken on its own identity, but it is essentially the identity of all of these individual female veterans, and it's come together to be this just like badass group of women.
Love it. So I know that I have a lot of friends that are female veterans myself, that deal with the different kinds of trauma, and I think that a big aspect of it is with the difference between the trauma that I hate to kind of like generalize it, but I do notice a lot of the female veterans issues do stem from the military sexual trauma, things like that. So do you guys have an avenue where people are able to talk about stuff like that?
Yeah, so that is the second biggest issue. First is recognition. Second is talking about military sexual trauma, also known as MST. That is something that we have a lot of resources. We have some that are very open about their trauma and open about their experiences, and going through all of that. But one of the things that we're actually doing is that is such a topic that nobody really wants to talk about, and it's very uncomfortable. And my daily profession, I am a service officer. And so I work with veterans and disability claims. And one thing that we're starting to kind of forge ahead with is working closely with our county service officers. And we're in the process of, we have a partner, a psychologist from VA, who we're working on putting together a training for county service officers on how to best approach a female veteran, or any veteran who's experienced a military sexual trauma, and how to make it a safe environment for that veteran to file their claim and to get through that process without triggering the veteran to any further trauma, but also how to educate and help that county service officer, because you're going to hear things or oversee things that to us we may be like, okay, that's not cool, and it may mess with your head a little bit. So that's one thing that we're working on right now, is putting together that training for county service officers. And another thing is there's a, if there's a female veteran who has gone through a sexual trauma and it has gone unreported, and she's kind of hit that point where she's like, I want to file a claim on this, or I need to talk to somebody about this. We have bombshells all the time, where they can put out in that group, hey, I need a battle buddy. And there's somebody there that will go with you. Or, I mean, I've even personally have, sat on phone calls with bombshells before where it's just a matter of they don't need anybody to say anything. They just need that support and that battle buddy there with them. So yeah, that's probably the second biggest area we're really working in.
Okay. So you guys are obviously based out of Iowa, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How far has your reach gotten since you started? So I know you're in Iowa, so how far out are we going now?
So right now we have bombshells in 43 states and 8 countries.
Wow. Holy shit. Didn't expect that. That is fantastic.
Yeah. So we actually we're not even a year old. So in this, when God wants something to happen, it's going to happen when he wants it to happen. And I've cracked the joke since starting Bombshell is I thought I was birthing a rabbit. It turns out I birthed a lion, and I'm trying to figure out how to ride it before it eats me. So we actually, this 4th of July, we're actually having a 4th of July camp out for bombshells and their families. And we're actually doing that in Wisconsin this year to hit some of the bombshells in northern Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. But yeah, I mean, we've had requests for, can I start a charter here? And that has come from Texas, Colorado, Tennessee, Arkansas. Yeah, there's a handful of bombshells in other states who have already been requesting to start a charter.
That's awesome. So what would it take to start a charter? If a female veteran wanted to, what would they have to do to get a hold of you to start a charter?
So the first thing is, God bless COVID-19. We're in the process of getting everything finalized with the IRS, and then Corona happened. And so everything has kind of been put on a standstill there. But once that is done, all they have to do is go to our website, bombshellpatriots.org, or our public page. You can find us at Bombshell Patriots. And just, our email, bombshellpatriots@gmail.com. Anytime you contact those, you're going to end up contacting me directly. And the biggest thing is, throw your idea out there. And even if it's not that you want to start a charter, even if you're just like, hey, this is a need that's going on in my county or in my area, or this is something I've been experiencing, reach out. That's the biggest thing. Is I can't tell you how many times we've had somebody reach out either with an emergency or with an idea, and we just kind of go from there. But yeah, so charters, we're hoping to have a game plan by the end of this year. However, Corona happened, so we're hoping to start getting those rolling next year.
Awesome. So you mentioned IRS, so I'm assuming you guys are going for the 501c3 status and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So they're like, you have 15 months to do it. And I was like, nope, as quick as this is running, we're going to hit this now. And then I actually just received a letter a couple of weeks ago that was like, hey, due to the coronavirus. I was like, seriously? So yeah. But yeah, so we'll be going for that 501c3, and that also, it just makes it easier as a 501c3, for charitable contributions, and to be able to help other service organizations with, like, VFW, American Legion, and then also our county service offices.
So what is I would say, like, moving forward, I mean, getting the 501c3, doing everything like that and building more charters, what is like the biggest aspiration you have as an organization? Like, what is a goal or an event or something like that you have in mind right now that you haven't been able to start with that you want to get to?
Honestly, I really think the biggest goal and aspiration I currently have for Bombshell Patriots is, there's so many female veterans that do not recognize themselves as veterans. whether it is because they deployed and they didn't see combat, or because they never deployed. I had recently spoke with a bombshell who she served 37 years and never saw a deployment, and she failed to recognize herself as a veteran. And there's a lot of things that happen in that time where a lot of these women who have served do not feel, they may have something, whether it was like a back injury at a training or something, and they go, well, I'm not a veteran and I can't file. And how poorly they've been treated for a lot of time by, service officers or posts of service organizations, and getting turned away, and just really being in their corner and helping them be recognized as a veteran, not just by the community, but helping them recognize, like, you served too. And just helping them get through whatever it is that they're wanting to get through.
That is fantastic. I mean, I as a friend of a lot of, like I said, as I said before, a lot of female veterans, this has been something that I have really wanted to find the right way to do it. I'm a member of the FitOps organization. It's the biggest organization that I work with. And we have females that are involved, but and we definitely hear their stories, and we do everything else, and we know them, and we embrace everyone as a family. But I do know that other organizations that are out there are very male centric. And I know that has been an issue for a lot of my female veteran friends, is finding that outlet that is strictly the female veteran to really get that part of the camaraderie. Because you can have the full life, but to get that female on female camaraderie, I think, is incredibly important. And then the recognition, the fact that they put on the uniform makes them absolutely no different. So it's absolutely amazing that there are organizations like yours out there that recognize that. I have run into it where, like we said before, couples that, are the female's the veteran, the male's not, and it's never realized, oh, you're a veteran too. And I think that's just something that shouldn't happen. And I love that the fact there's an organization really bringing this more to light. So what, as far as fundraising, things like that, what are you guys hoping to accomplish over this next year as far as fundraising and things like that?
Yeah, so we've had a couple of fundraisers already. The biggest thing right now is we actually, what you were just saying kind of led perfectly into that. On our website, we have a shop, and we have kind of custom apparel that we're starting to get together, and we're starting to roll out. That's print on demand. When you order it, it's printed and it's shipped to you. But we're actually working on a design right now. You see t-shirts all the time that say, like, wife of smoking hot veteran. Well, we're actually working on one that says husband of smoking hot veteran. We have one right now. It says beautiful and deadly. And really just celebrating the female veterans. So a lot of those things that you see for male veterans on shirt, kind of just spinning it for the female veteran. We have another one that says, the badass veteran in me honors the badass veteran in you. And so that's one way that we really do a lot of our fundraising. We have trucker hats now with our logo across them. And the biggest thing is, when you purchase apparel from our site, you're not just helping us help female veterans economically, but you're really helping those female veterans and acknowledging their service. And they get so excited. Like, I will get messages where there'll be like, I saw one of our stickers on a van driving down the road. We have decals, and a lot of them took to putting them on their back window. So merchandise is a really big one. Unfortunately, due to the corona pandemic, we have nothing else planned for this year. We have been blessed. We have a Post 37 out of Ames, Iowa. They have been a tremendous supporter, and thanks to them, we actually were able to get our website and our online store and everything paid for an entire year. So, and that's something that's huge, whether it's a male veteran or a female veteran, is service organizations needing to work together. And, you know, I'm friends with a couple people who run other veteran service organizations, and they do things Bombshell doesn't do. And, you know, if I have a Bombshell coming to me who needs something that one of them offer, that Bombshell trusts me and I trust them. And so it's, in a way, one of our kind of like, I call it like a hidden agenda, is weaving this net that, you know, if a veteran falls through the system, so to speak, trying to have this net of community organizations underneath to catch them.
That is awesome. And speaking on the apparel stuff, I have a clothing line that fitness clothing line I'm putting together right now. So something I can do, because I obviously want to support you guys as well. I would like to design a shirt with you that we can put up on with my fitness clothing line, that I would then donate 100% of the proceeds of that specific shirt to Bombshell Patriots. So I would like to do that with you, and we'll work on that together.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So we'll work on that together. So
we have a lot of fitness buffs.
Yeah, I think fitness and veterans, we kind of go hand in hand. We go one of two ways. We either get out and we all just start eating cookies, or we all stay in the best shape we possibly can. That's the two ways. So, and either way is right to me.
Yeah, my husband got out of service and was like, "Ooh, ice cream." But he's like, "Look, I did my time. Let me eat my ice cream in peace."
Absolutely. So how long? So your husband was in. You were in as well, or no?
No, I am not a veteran. I was born just outside Camp Lejeune. My dad was a tanker in the Marine Corps. And that was my dream, is I wanted to go into the Marine Corps. However, due to being an asthmatic as a child, no branch wanted me. So I did not get to serve. But I come from a long line. Yeah, and then I ended up marrying a veteran. So.
Well, I mean, I think that even I just had another episode with another organization where the female that's in charge of the entire thing is a civilian, and she was in the same kind of boat where she didn't serve. But I think there are ways to serve without serving. So the fact that you do what you do on behalf of veterans, I want to say thank you for what you do. That's a huge thing. Because we need more civilians that understand the importance of what the military does, is specifically a civilian female that wants to raise awareness for female veterans. I think that is one of the most amazing things I've ever heard in my life. So I am 100% behind this organization without question. I do have some other friends that are in the Bombshell community, like not the Bombshell Patriots, but just in the pinup and things like that community. And I'm definitely going to get you linked up with them. I think that there could be some really cool cross promotion there done too. So.
Yeah, one of the very first things we actually did was we did a pinup calendar, and all of our models were either female veterans. We had one who was a firefighter, and her brother was unfortunately killed in action in Ramadi, and so we did a tribute to him. And then they were like, "No, you started this, you have to be in the first calendar." But yeah, we had done a calendar, and it was one of those things. It was fun to see them, I guess, kind of like celebrate their service in a different way.
Absolutely.
So
I think it's kind of cool to bring in that Bombshell aspect, because one thing that I have heard from a lot of my female veteran friends is that when they put on the uniform, it kind of almost and to say it in the best way possible, it like demeans the sexuality portion of their life. So they feel like they put on the uniform, they look like everybody else. Bringing that Bombshell back in, I think that kind of like embraces the female veteran, the sexuality. It brings in everything. And I think that's absolutely, it's empowering as all hell. So that's super fucking cool.
Yeah, we've actually had a handful of conversations in our group really kind of revolving that is, and that was one thing that my friend Lori really struggled with when she got out, was that loss of the feminine identity. When you spend so much time in uniform surrounded by males, having to act like a male, and then you get out and you're like, oh crap, I'm a girl. I don't know how to be a girl. And it's one of those things where you don't have to do your hair and your makeup every single day. You're allowed to go play in the mud. You're allowed to know how to shoot guns, like that's what a bombshell is, really, is makeup to mud in 2.2. Lipsticks and ammo. So just finding that kind of happy balance of you're still a woman, even if you did serve, and none of those materialistic or artificial things make you any less of a woman if that's, not what you want to do. So
that is absolutely awesome to me. Like that's, and again, like I said, that's something I've heard a lot from a lot of the females that I've talked to. Just like you said, they kind of lose that idea. I guess femininity is a way better word than what I had, because I'm not a wordsmith guy, but they lost identity when they got out, and you're giving them the ability to kind of find that dichotomy between the two. They can still roll in the mud and shoot guns and really be a badass, but then turn around and do the makeup, do the hair, put on the outfit, and still be that feminine woman that they want to be. So it's really awesome dichotomy between it. And I think that's only available in the veteran female community. And it's just super cool to see. So I love that aspect of
it. Yeah. Thank you.
So if somebody wanted to say, we talked about, the shirts, everything else, what if somebody wanted to get a hold of you for aspects of a fundraising idea, or getting more involved, or becoming one of your bombshells? What do they have to
do? So you can, if you are an actively serving female or a female veteran, and you want to join our support group, you can find us on Facebook by searching Bombshell Patriots members group. If you can't find it, because Facebook seems to be changing their algorithms all the time, you can shoot us a message through our contact page on bombshellpatriots.org, or you can, send us a message through our public page on Facebook.
Okay. And once again, for everybody listening,
whatever you shoot me.
Everybody listening, those links will be in the description of this, just so everybody knows. But yeah, continue what you were saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh yeah, no. So anytime, if you message any of those, I will be the one to respond back.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and
we're still small enough. I handle everything.
Well, I think it's a good thing. It makes it personal. I'm in the same boat. I run a company, and obviously I'm not a not-for-profit. I run a fitness company, so it's definitely a for-profit thing. I do it to make money, but I'm the only person. So if anybody messages my pages or anything like that, it's me. It's 100% me replying and everything else, other than my auto things when it's off-duty hours. So, so I totally get that.
Yeah, and that's something going back to the charter thing is this is one of those things where this is my baby, is what a lot of the girls call it, but this isn't just my baby, so to speak. This means a lot more than kind of like giving birth to an idea. Our first handout, telling our about story, I had actually reached out to my friend Lori, who I lost. I had actually reached out to her mom and was talking to her. And I had this line in the about section in our first handout that said, if Bombshell Patriots was around when Lori was alive, maybe she'd still be here today. And her mom responded, no, she would still be here today if Bombshell Patriots would have been here when she was alive. And, so at the end of the day, I really, deep down, my biggest goal with Bombshell Patriots is I don't ever want somebody to have to stand at a headstone like I have, or her mom, or, the people we graduated with, because a female felt like she had nobody to fight with her. And she got lost in transition, and so everybody lost her. And so I think at the end of the day, you can't come out with a mission statement saying, preventing female veterans from killing themselves. But at the end of the day, it's just to have that community for them to know, no woman fights alone with Bombshell Patriots. Once you're a bombshell, we're all stuck to your face like an octopus.
I love that. I think that is just, wow, that is amazing. And I definitely want to be able to promote you guys and push you guys. And like I said, I really hope everybody listening checks out Bombshell Patriots on Facebook, online, buy some shirts, really support these guys, because they are doing such amazing work for the, not just the female veteran community, I think veterans in general, because promoting even just one veteran and enriching one veteran life raises more, and it lowers that 22 a day number, which is the goal of all of us in the veteran community, is to lower that 22 a day number down to 0. So I think that is incredibly, this whole organization is awesome. Like I said, straight from the name, the Bombshell Patriots name got me off the bat. So I love this organization. I think this is absolutely awesome. So I want to do everything I can to help you guys. I'm going to push you guys out, make sure I'm promoting you. All my friends and listeners need to make sure they're promoting and sending things out on Instagram, Facebook, everything, sharing their pages, letting people know, start chapters, help these guys out. So is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with?
The biggest thing is, we haven't forgotten about the men. There's actually, since the beginning of all of this, some of my biggest supporters have actually been males who are still serving, or male veterans. And one thing that we're slowly trying to kind of put together is, they're called the Bombshell Brothers. And it's male veterans who support their sisters in arms. And our kickoff event we had back in November, a bunch of male veterans actually volunteered, and they worked the night for the female veterans. And so it was really cool to see an event where it was a bunch of guys working the event for the girls. But that's something that, we're working on putting together also, is having kind of that same dynamic and that same relationship. We're just trying to figure out how to formulate it to get males more active and involved. But most specifically, the reason Bombshell Brothers was born is because of husbands who have a wife that's either on training or deployed. They do not receive the same support that a wife receives when their husband is deployed. Absolutely. And that is something that has gotten brought up a lot. And so with Bombshell Brothers, this gives the husbands or boyfriends of our bombshells an avenue of, I have 3 kids, my yard needs mowed. I can't watch 3 kids and mow my yard. That gives them that male avenue to reach out to and be like, look, guys, I'm struggling. I don't know how to do a ponytail. Do any of you? So that's something we're working on right now also.
That's awesome. That's actually, and the name of that's cool too, like the Bombshell Brothers. I think you guys have just so much fun with this. Like, I think that's a big aspect for a lot of these organizations, that you see that some of them are very stringent and very tight, go, but it seems like you have a little bit more fun when you do it. And I think that's huge, because if you don't have fun and you don't enjoy what you do, then what's the point of doing it?
Yeah, so on before all of this pandemic stuff happened, on Wednesday nights there's actually a small group of bombshells who would meet at a local coffee house, and it's one of those things where I try my best to kind of lead by example. And I, on a normal day, I'm a backwards trucker hat, biker boots up to my knees, no makeup, just running and on the go. And I think that's one of the best parts that's really transpired out of the bombshell community, is just be you. We've had people show up to, our support group on Wednesday nights in pajamas. We have them show up on virtual calls with literally no makeup and baby puke down their shirt. But the fact that, you know, these bombshells recognize that we're still humans, we're not perfect. Yeah, and just really celebrating like who you are and kind of let your freak flag fly and be you. And that's, I mean, one of the best parts of all of this is you build that trust and that camaraderie, because it's really easy to just be yourself.
Absolutely.
As imperfect as you are. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only other thing that I can do for you, that I would like to do for you guys is, I've got some events coming up, fundraising events and fitness events, things like that. I would love to get in touch with you later on when it gets a little bit closer to those, to set up, maybe you guys could come out and have a booth, something like that, so you can pass out your information and really get people, maybe sell some shirts, whatever you want to do, just to kind of get your name out a little bit more. These are going to be local in the Des Moines area, so I will kind of get with you on when those events are coming closer, so we can get your name out a little bit more too. I'd love to push you as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that, you know, because at the end of the day, it's just, you know, the more we can get Bombshell out there, the more female veterans, the more actively serving females, you know, we can, you know, just be there for and be like, hey, like, even if you don't need us right now, just know, like, when you need a battle buddy, we're here. So.
Well, like I said, once again, I want to do everything to help, and I'm so glad that an organization like yours exists. So if you ever need anything, you feel free to contact myself. I'm 100% in with whatever you guys need. I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me tonight. I know you've been pretty busy and everybody's on the lockdown, so I'm sure you're getting a lot done, as much as you can anyway. So once again, I want to thank you for coming and talking with us. Guys, Bombshell Patriots online on all the social media platforms. I'm going to make sure there's links in the description to get a hold of them in any way, shape, or form you can. Buy some shirts, do some stuff. Once again, when my clothing line comes out, there's going to be a special shirt that's going to be in partnership with Bombshell Patriots, where they will actually get 100% of the proceeds of that shirt sold for 1 full year. So once again, thank you guys from Bombshell. Thank you, Alyssa from Bombshell, for coming out and talking to us today, or, you know, quote unquote, coming out. It's great. Doing the best we can in the age of Corona.
So. Yeah. God bless Corona. Thank you for having me. I look forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely. Thank you again. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds great.
Bye.
Bye.